Hello, I'm Carolyn Dietzken, a volunteer here at KMRE, and I'm here with Susan Blaise, our programming director. Today, we are talking with Dustin Willetts, artistic director of Kulshan Chorus. Dustin, can you tell us a little bit more about your upcoming project and about the involvement of Kulshan Chorus within the community?
Thanks for having me. I'm excited to be part of your first on-air pledge drive. The project I'm here to share with you about is the 3-performance tour of Christopher Tin's The Drop That Contained the Sea. And this is a set of performances with a full symphony orchestra. I think we have 53 members, along with 175 singers, plus local area high schools joining us for the show as well. The first performance is June 1st at Mount Baker Theater in Bellingham at 7 p.m. Information can be found on their website, as well as Kulshan Chorus's website, which is the local group. So this is a project that is a collaboration between 3 nonprofit organizations, the Kulshan Chorus of Bellingham, Cantabile Chamber Choir of Skagit County, and the Snow King Community Chorale in Edmonds, Washington. The performance is about an hour long. It is a contemporary classical work, as I said, by Christopher Tin. And if you haven't heard any of Christopher Tin's compositions in the past, he thrives in that crossover realm, kind of bridging the gaps between classical and cinematic and contemporary music. It involves professional soloists. Every movement is in a different language, collaborating with different cultures and song traditions as well.
Are all these folks getting together in person, or is part of this remote?
Each of the respective choirs has been rehearsing for a few months on their own, and they have weekly rehearsals as part of that's just part of their normal community and schedule. Kulshan Chorus meets on Thursday nights, for example, week after week. Thursdays at 7, from 7 to 9, and they rehearse stuff. The orchestra is a new orchestra that we've formed called the Salish Sea Orchestra. They will only rehearse together with everybody, with the whole choir and soloists all together, only 2 times. We did one last week, and then we have one this Saturday as well. But there's no remote connection or anything like that. It's just a lot of individual practice time, and when you work with professionals, things can go a lot faster because everybody knows what the expectation level is.
And this is all happening at the Mount Baker Theater.
That's the opening performance. Yeah, it's the Mount Baker Theater, downtown Bellingham. The second one is June 8th at McIntyre Hall in Mount Vernon, right near the college there. The final performance is at Benaroya Hall in downtown Seattle, and that is a 2 p.m. matinee. And June 15th is that date, I think.
How exciting. That is amazing. Is this typical for Kulshan Chorus?
You know, my hope for them as their director is that every 3 years we do a big project like this where we collaborate with other ensembles, just do big things that not many people are really doing. It's definitely an expensive endeavor. So we do a lot of fundraising so that we can try to do this kind of art about once every 3 years. The first time we tried it, we were almost ready to perform, but that was in 2020. We all know what happened then, and so we sort of had to step on the brakes there. We've been kind of growing back, both in number and financially since then, and really, really grateful to all of our communities that have come behind this project to help make it possible. So we're ready to kind of showcase everybody's hard work and passion for really good music and good storytelling.
Can you tell me a little bit more about the Kulshan Chorus, and can anybody be involved? Is there an audition process? How does that work?
Yeah, so twice a year we do an open call auditions for Kulshan Chorus. I would call it a moderate level audition. I also work with more semi-professional and professional groups as well, but there's no need to prepare any music ahead of time for this audition for Kulshan Chorus. We really do have a desire to have everybody be able to join us and sing. That being said, during the audition process, I kind of do some warm-ups with you to make sure that you're in a healthy section of the choir and to make sure you have some basic skills like pitch matching and things like that. So we have turned away a few people and have offered to kind of work with them in the past to get them to where they need to be to join the chorus, but it really does have a heart to be a community-centric chorus.
That's great. What's your vision for the chorus in general?
Oh man. And thankfully that is a vision that comes from not just me, but a really healthy board of directors. We together talk about what are the important things of the Kulshan chorus, and primarily we're a social justice community. We really have done a lot of performances in the past centered around topics that need to have art surrounding them. So we did an outreach concert to some retirement communities. At the end of the day, we really strive to be light in our community in Bellingham and beyond. But we try to make sure that we always remember that good music is the box upon which we stand. And so whatever art form we try to use, we try to make sure that we are doing that art form honor and justice as well. And Kulshan Chorus has really spread its light beyond just Bellingham and Whatcom County. In fact, we have another international tour coming up just a few days after our Benaroya performance in Seattle. About 50 of us are going to Greece, and we'll be touring around Greece. And a lot of what we do is get off the regular beaten path that most tours do. And we go into communities that don't normally get to hear performing ensembles, especially choirs come in and sing music about community and light and honoring each other and the fact that we belong to each other. One of the things I'm most excited about on that tour is we're going to share our music and also meals with a refugee camp just outside of Thessaloniki, Greece. So I'm really excited and a little nervous about how all of that can work, because we're just going to go in with just music in our hearts and the desire to just connect with humanity. Let the fates kind of decide how that goes. We're obviously in coordination with them over there. It's not like we're just showing up, but nobody really knows how beautiful that will be until we get there.
Right. That sounds like quite an adventure.
I would like to know more about The Drop That Contains the Sea. It's a very humanist piece. What is the message behind it? Why did you choose it?
Yeah, actually was doing a lot of research for what major work I wanted to be doing with all of these groups. I had studied a lot of the text already, and then upon a long drive, I decided that I was just going to be listening to a bunch of different movements of different things to decide where my heart was going to be, because ultimately it's the beauty of the music that draws people. I had to pull over. We got into one of the movements as I was listening. My wife and I were on a long drive. I had to pull the car over because one of the movements of this work was just so beautiful. It was in Portuguese, Brazilian Portuguese, and I didn't know at the time exactly what the text translation was. I know now, but just the emotion and the level of evoking that the music had it was fantastic. So, and then the more I studied it and the text and the fact that it was centered around the water cycle, but originally the concept came from an old Sufi teaching, which is, I'll paraphrase because I don't have the direct quote in front of me, but just as a drop of water contains the contents of the ocean, so does one human contain the essence of all humanity. That is very much a core to what I hope to leave in my life when I'm gone. With all my ensembles, I hope to instill that level of desire in all of my singers and all of my musicians and all of my audience members. I think there aren't enough ensembles telling the stories of how we belong to each other. And I'm often reminded of Mother Teresa's famous phrase, if we have no peace, it's because we've forgotten that we belong to each other. And in fact, I've built entire concerts around that concept. And so when I began studying The Drop That Contained the Sea and digging into the text and all of the motives in it, I was just drawn deeper and deeper. It's just like a good piece of artwork that you could just stare at forever because it just draws you in. That's what this did musically for me.
Yes, and Kulshan Choir has the same vision, humanist vision. You also went to community centers, like old age centers, to perform. So you're really trying to be involved in the community. And you're trying to be as inclusive as possible when you accept the singers in the Kulshan Choir, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, you like you said, we did the 2 retirement communities last, I think, February or March, and in fact, it's just been a big drive and passion for the board of directors and myself and all of the singers as well. It's just been a little bit more difficult to do that coming out of the pandemic. I think as people feel safe around singing again and contagions and stuff coming out of this sort of COVID era. But one of the things I'm really looking forward to with The Drop That Contained the Sea is we're hosting and collaborating with Ferndale High School, Jessica Schlichting's ensemble. And their program is so good. I was able to go and work with them a couple of weeks ago and just share some of how the movements that they're going to sing with us are going to go. It's such a stellar program. I'm so honored to be able to just jump into Jessica's program. She just does amazing work with these students. And so everybody's just really excited and on fire for this project. It takes many voices and many minds to put together something like this. But the fact that we get to do this with the local high school, and because of our community support, it doesn't cost the high school kids or their families or the school district anything. It's just an offer to come and make music together. That's a really special thing.
It is super special. I'm wondering if you can talk a little bit about why you think community is important. I mean, you've talked a lot about belonging, but why is it so essential to find community?
Oh my gosh, how long is this program? Because community is everything. Like, not to sound cliche, but 100% of the problems that are caused, whether it's a war in Gaza or Ukraine, or if it's not taking care of our own people with clean water or equity in all things, including, pay and opportunity, all of those things, 100% of them come out are stemmed from greed and from forgetting that community is everything. If we made all decisions, if all politicians, if all humans, if all teachers and neighbors, if we all made decisions through the one lens that is community, the one lens that we belong to each other, and what happens to you affects me, not only on an emotional level, but on a tangible level as well. If we all made decisions through that one concept and kept that at the forefront of our minds, the world would be significantly better. It'd be safer, it'd be healthier, it'd be more utopic. I will talk ad nauseum about that and have conversations with anybody who disagrees with that. Community and communication of community. I mean, having a KMRE news team doing a pledge drive. I hope that anybody listening to this is willing to donate and support 88.3 KMRE, because that is public radio is centric into having the pulse on the community, sharing things that your local people need to hear without any influence of political sway or financial burdens of advertising and corporations owning certain things. So please support your local radio stations for sure. But community is everything. That's why art is beautiful. That's why people are moved when they go to ensemble music, when they go to symphonies, when they go hear choirs perform. It doesn't matter what age group you're listening to perform. When it's the beauty is, of course, music is intrinsically beautiful, of course, but I think that the vehicle that transports that beauty to you is the fact that they're in community doing that together. And that's what's inspiring. Whether we can, put our finger on that, it's that is what is most moving, is to watch people work together on something greater than themselves. With The Drop That Contained the Sea, it tells the story of how we belong to each other and models it in many, many ways. And I hope that you're all able to come to this performance. But you've heard it said, like, good art imitates, or that art imitates life. And I really believe that good art, or the best art, imitates or demonstrates the way life should be. I'm very hopeful that you're able to hear that. I believe with my heart of hearts that if you come to one of these performances, you'll be inspired, but also just reminded that people on the other side of the world belong to you and you to them.
Can you tell us the rundown of dates and times again?
Absolutely. Yeah. The opening night is at Mount Baker Theater in Bellingham. That's June 1st at 7 p.m. Then, and these are all Saturdays, by the way. June 8th is at McIntyre Hall in Mount Vernon, which is in Skagit County. They're just wrapping up their big Tulip Festival, so traffic's a lot better now. But that is 7 p.m. as well on June 8th. And then the final performance is June 15th with a Saturday matinee, 2 p.m., Benaroya Hall, downtown Seattle.
It was powerful. I mean, you should definitely go see The Drop That Contained the Sea because the music is so moving and it carries you in another world. It's sung in different languages. Bulgarian, ancient Greek, Sanskrit. So you travel.
Yeah. And travel is another just element of community, right? It reminds us that there are other cultures out there. And one of my favorite things to do is just go learn from other cultures. And you feel like you're doing that during this concert.
Well, I'm buying my ticket. Really appreciate it. Appreciate the good work you're doing in the community. And thank you for coming to the first ever KMRE 88.3 FM on-air pledge drive.
Thank you so much, Dustin, for being a part of our first ever on-air pledge drive.